So this episode is going to be episode 3, the final episode, and the wrap-up of this base camp with Simone and Malcolm and Simone, discussing illegal immigration in Africa. Like I said, this is part 3. I've already released part 1 and 2, so you guys can go to my channel and check that out if you want to. Let us carry on.
Well, and I find it interesting that in the United States, I do not think blacks would make this same sort of argument, but these people seem to genuinely be concerned that people are going to label them as xenophobic, right? Like, I love it that there's like black South Africans.
You're saying there are black people in America who would not want to say that they're against it.
No, they don't. In America, you get such a pass for being black. You know, they're not going to immediately come out and be like, I'm not saying this because I'm a racist. But in South Africa, the black protesters are like, I want to be clear.
This is not xenophobia. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, you make a good point there.
I've been watching a lot more on American history, and like the idea that America was ever a country where endless immigration from any population was something that we wanted. That's not true of historic America.
No, that's true, because from what I know about that, back in the day, immigration, let's say, for instance, you're in America, immigration was preferred if the immigrants came from, let's say, UK, or they came from Europe, or they came from other Western civilizations, because everybody had the understanding back in the day, and I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened. It was Marxism, it was communism, it was, suicidal empathy, it was the establishment of the UN and the WEF and the EU and all these globalist organizations. But anyway, everybody had the understanding. It's better to get immigrants coming over when they already have similar culture, similar traditions, similar outlooks on life to your population, and they hold the same ideals that you have in your society, because assimilation is going to be very easy. Their ideology is not antithetical to your ideology, so of course you would show preference to those type of people. And unfortunately, look, people that are in PvP server countries, people that are in these backwater countries, the humanitarian aspect of it comes in with, I suppose, what Trump is currently doing in Iran could be considered a humanitarian effort. He's literally saving Iranian people from dictators that happen to also be Iranian. That's the approach that should be taken when it comes to wanting to help people in PvP server countries. You don't get them to come into your country. What you do is you help them sort out their country. There has to be that separation though, because at the end of the day, your outlook and their outlook is different. They don't see the world the same way you do, so why would you want those people to come into your country to begin with? You'll just keep it separate, but you also want to help them, so you'll do your best to try help them sort out their country, but not at the cost of your citizens. Like, this is where I would agree with, obviously, the America First movement or the America First ideology. It's, put your citizens first, but it shouldn't be, it's America first, but not America only. There should be both sides of it. There should be you wanting to sort out and take care of your citizens in your society, but also you want to make, I know it sounds cliche, but the world a better place. I hate that, but I don't really have a better way of putting it at the moment. But I think, you have to have both. But again, the immigration thing, you want people to come in from other countries that have got the same mindset that you have in your country. Of course, normal.
We were very, very strict about who could immigrate into the country. We were very, very strict about who could enter our communities, who could integrate into our communities.
Yeah, which is based normal.
Obviously, what really broke the dam on all of this was the integration of Catholics into America.
Wait, why do you? God.
It's factually true.
Everyone, you can reset your counters back to 0. Catholic alert. Take a shot.
If you study American history, it's factually true. That's where we first allowed a really large immigrant group that didn't have American culture or American values.
Man, but again, I suppose, you're bringing up the whole Catholic thing, and I need to specify it's because of Vatican II Catholicism. Vatican II messed up everything. Like, if you go back in history and you look at, once again, the medieval ages, Catholics were the guys that started the Crusades. Catholics were the guys that know that the Ottomans are going to wipe us out. We need to rectify this stuff. We need to rectify this stuff like post haste immediately, because these guys are freaking animals. And unfortunately, as we know, they're still animals because they haven't changed. Islam is just it's a rubbish religion, and unfortunately, because of ancestral worship and all that kind of stuff here in Africa, South Africa, it's kind of not that much different from Islam. They still act like animals. It's like you have to domesticate them almost. And you have to bring them to a right type of ideology, a right type of mentality. And unfortunately, because of Vatican II, sissy, soft, soy boy, spineless kind of Christianity, it allows the evil to come in and wipe out civilizations. So yeah, it is suicidal empathy to its extreme,
and was unable to persistently integrate into American values, which is really which when we made that normalization, like anyone can integrate, anyone can become America, even if they're still Catholic 3 generations in or something like that.
Yeah.
That is when I think we sort of set the tide where, no, now we're a country that accepts anyone. Now we're a country that's just like,
and I think that's
wherever you are,
not a good
world,
thing.
If it's hard
it's not a good thing.
Just come to America, because that wasn't the original goal of the Puritans or the Congregationalists or the original American religious communities. I've been doing more research recently on the original Great Awakening, which is really fascinating, and sort of how it built the American. So fun information, Simone, because I probably won't do a full episode on it because I don't think our audience can stomach just education. But what was a really big part of the Great Awakening is when it started, you typically only had preachers that were regional, and they began to have traveling preachers. And the traveling preachers were really hated by the local preachers because you were supposed to only have like one church in an area, and everybody went to that church.
Yeah.
And in some settlements, you could only get into that church if you had a specific type of like religious awakening, even. So it wasn't even like everyone had to go to the church. It was one local church was an option, and getting in was exclusive.
Wow.
And so then these traveling preachers began to become.
And that's the thing. I mean, I'm glad he brings up, exclusive. Like Christianity, I'm not going to go on a sermon and stuff like that, but just quickly, Christianity is and should be seen as exclusive. This whole idea that Christianity is inclusive, and now that we're pointing to, the whole immigration thing. If you were to think about it, take for instance, heaven has got very high walls. There's only one way to get to heaven. There's very strict immigration policy, shall we put it. And this is how we should see, we should see society as well, our societies. The societies we want to preserve, or the societies that are worth preserving, should I say. We should see them as, okay, well, in order for you to get in, there's certain things that you have to do. There's a certain mindset that you have to have. If you don't have that mindset, but you are open to adopting a different mindset, this is how immigration worked in the Old Testament, in Bible times, of course. It's the people, the foreigners, that everybody likes quoting Bible verses and stuff like that, specifically Vatican II type of Christians and Catholics and Orthodox people and all that kind of stuff, the weak, lily-livered kind of Christians. They'll always cite these verses, you must be kind to the foreigner. The Bible says that you must be kind and you must treat them well and all that kind of stuff. The implication never gets addressed of, but what are the prerequisites for the foreigner? What are the expectations on the foreigner? in Bible times, the expectations of the foreigner, they wanted to assimilate. They wanted to come in and adopt the culture because they realized, okay, I come from a shithole. I want to flee my shithole and come to a civilization that is better. Obviously, I'm going to strip away my shithole mentality and leave it in my shithole country because I can clearly see that this civilization is far more superior. Clearly, their mentality is different from mine. Not only do I want to integrate into the society, I also want to adopt the mentality of the society so that I can be a functional human being, because clearly they seem to know what's going on a lot more than I do. So, of course, I want to assimilate and take in the whole thing. Whereas, unfortunately now, once again, because of Vatican II kind of Christianity, I think Vatican II kind of Christianity basically paved the way for, the secular understanding of multiculturalism. They paved the way for, this inclusivity, this DEI, this LGBTQ, this whole mentality of inclusivity. You can basically trace it back to Vatican II type of Christianity. And it's not Christianity.
Popular, and people really hated it because they were competing with the traveling preachers, but the traveling preachers ended up sort of spreading and creating a cross-American religious identity that was it took parts of the various original Protestant American groups and sort of formed a pan-American religious conversation where things that they would do during the Great Awakening that hadn't really been done before were things like religions of different Protestant theologies teaching together or going on tour together. And people thought this was very scandalous, right? Like, how could you do this? And they're like, no. Like, come on, guys. We agree we hate Catholics, but like, it's okay that we're preaching together, right? Like, we agree on the
And again, I understand, like, I know I did a video about the, the Catholic Orthodox, Protestant crash outs and all that kind of stuff. The thing is, the problem is, I don't see it as a problem within the faith. I see a problem with liberalism has subverted the faith. It's this wishy-washy Vatican II liberalism that has infected the body of Christ. That's the issue. Those are the kind of quote-unquote Christians that we should have an issue with. Those ones that are into multiculturalism, those ones that are into pro-abortion, pro-LGBTQ, pro all these kind of things, those are the ones that I have an issue with. Those are the ones that are going anti what the Bible teaches. I don't necessarily say that there is anything wrong with Orthodox, anything wrong with Catholic, anything wrong with Protestant in terms of foundationally. It's the people, it's the liberals that have infected churches that are the issue.
Important stuff, okay? And this created this idea that various Protestant groups can have communion with each other, which was not widely agreed upon either outside of America or in America before this. So anyway,
that is really interesting. That is fun. And also, I'm interested to see how these protests unfurl. Huge thanks to, you know who you are, the Basecamp listener who suggested this episode. Because I had no idea. I don't know. Like, this isn't in at least the New York Times.
Yeah, well, it doesn't fit the narrative. They don't want you to know about it.
I don't see people discussing it on X. I don't see the New York Times talking about it. It's not on like Drudge Report. So thank you.
Can we get like based Africans to form a part of the community? I mean, I know we actually have a significant fan base in Africa. So
yeah, that would be.
That'd be fun. I'm here.
You know, in terms of where the future of the world goes, it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. So let's build up that African community. Obviously, stay in Africa. You know, I'm not saying come over here. What?
I don't know. I think we need more based Africans here.
We do need more based Africans here. Yeah, true.
Actually, come on over, friends.
If you're willing to help us get rid of the fraudsters.
Again, I mean, I think where we really fall down on immigration is
it's everywhere.
You can stay if you are a net tax contributor.
But
I think like standard, if we just made that the one immigration policy, we would be super fine with immigration.
Mm-hmm.
The
normal
one rule,
expectations.
If your household is a net tax contributor, you can stay. If you are not, you can see yourself out.
Normal.
It's fine. Okay.
Absolutely normal
Okay.
expectations. Jeez,
See, then
like,
you can have
I don't know
both
how people
porous
crash
borders
out
and
about that.
general
Of course.
generous social services.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's really all you have to do. And you can remove the racism, right? Like just say anyone who's a
I
tax
don't care,
contributor
yeah.
pays, anyone who's
Doesn't
a tax
matter where you're
claimant
from.
does.
Yep. And
Yep.
it's also not one of those like ticket price things where like, oh, well, you have to pay like, this much to get in or like invest in a company or something. It's no just like, hey, it looks like you were negative this month. Thank you. It was lovely having you here. You are now dismissed. Goodbye.
Get shipped back and never can come back.
Yep, that was your chance.
Normal stuff.
It's over. Yep.
Normal stuff.
I think it's fine.
And people are like, that's too harsh. And it's like, you can just not take government money, right? Like if you lose a job or something, you don't need to.
Yeah, like you can ask a church community to take care of you that month or any number of things.
Yeah, and that's what the church was, historically there
Is
for.
Google Ads harassing you again?
Google is very aggressive with their ad campaign.
No, I think people have discovered that ads really don't make money anymore.
So check out rfab.ai. Any of our new features, our super search, we're getting close to the VTuber system being fully functional at this point. Might be by this episode. But we're getting close to, we got the new based AI. Like literally yesterday, I was like, I'm gonna make a based AI. It's up, it's operational. Try it out. It even switches with Alloy model into top
Wait,
AI models.
no,
within it.
Explain how and why
walking?
it's based.
Well, it literally uses a prompt injection that you can change that keeps it from being too woke. So,
Give it a try, guys. Let us know what you think. Yeah, and anyway,
Okay, seems like they're just
that is all.
waffling now.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I've been even with this putting in more image generation services. So we have like one of the fullest image generation. You should look at using RFAD.
Okay, so it
more
just
for
seems like
title
they're
card
waffling
generation,
about
by the
random
way.
stuff now.
We
so I
have
guess
all of
that's-
the models that you're
that's
using. Like
basically
Yeah,
it.
I personally find your prompt injections to be abrasive when it comes to image.
Okay, well, let's end there. Yeah, so that was part 3 of the trilogy that I decided to do regarding Africans rise up against black illegal immigration. Yeah, so like I said in the first episode that I covered from these guys, I recently discovered them. Base Camp with Simone and Malcolm. Yeah, I like them. They're really good. Check them out. Give them a like, give them a subscribe. And yeah, immigration, hey. That's what happens when communist regimes take over. Everything goes to crap. In any case, have a good Sunday and we'll check you on the next one. Cheers, guys.